Over the last few years, there's been a noticeable wave of Israelis making the Philippines their new home. Recently, the trend has grown stronger, with many Israelis selling off their belongings and making a permanent move to this Southeast Asian paradise. But what's behind this surprising choice? Why the Philippines and not another Asian country? Before we dive into the reasons driving this migration, let's first explore what makes the Philippines uniquely attractive. Out of the 10 ASEAN nations, the Philippines holds a special bond with Israel, a relationship rooted in gratitude and history. In fact, Filipinos are free to visit Israel without a visa, a rare privilege that speaks volumes about the friendship between these two nations. So where does this unique connection come from? It traces back to a heartfelt moment in history. Under President Manuel Quezon, the Philippines was the only country in Asia to open its doors to Jewish refugees. That gesture of kindness has created a lasting link between the two nations, one that's drawing Israelis to the Philippines today in record numbers. Here's a piece of history that few know. The Philippines played a pivotal role in the birth of Israel as an independent nation. When the United Nations General Assembly held its crucial vote on Resolution 181, recommending the creation of a free and independent Israel, the Philippines stood among the 30 nations that voted in favor. In fact, it was the only Asian country to do so, alongside powerhouses like the United States, France, Canada, and Norway. The Philippines cast the deciding vote that ultimately sealed victory for the Jewish people in the UN. But the Philippines didn't stop there. On May 11, 1949, it took yet another significant stand by voting for UN Resolution 247, which granted Israel full membership in the United Nations. To this day, the Philippines remains Israel's most dependable ally in the Far East and within ASEAN. In contrast, countries like Indonesia, the world's largest Muslim-majority nation, are less likely to support Israel due to their alignment with Arab nations. This deep-rooted connection between the Philippines and Israel continues to shape their relationship, making the Philippines one of Israel's most unique and steadfast friends in the region. Malaysia and Brunei may keep their distance from Israel, but the Philippines stands firm as Israel's closest ally in Southeast Asia. This bond is strengthened by their shared friendships with America and NATO allies, creating a unique and enduring connection in the region. The alliance between the Philippines and Israel goes back decades. Embassies were established in Manila and Tel Aviv in 1962, and by 1997, the two nations formalized their partnership with a Memorandum of Understanding. This agreement laid the foundation for ongoing political dialogue and collaboration in fields like trade, culture, science, tourism, and even academic exchanges. The history of cooperation runs deep, starting with the first agreement signed in August 1951. Since then, they've inked 13 other agreements covering everything from visa-free travel to cultural and educational exchanges. Fast forward to 2020, and Israel was ranked as the Philippines' 25th largest trading partner out of 225, 28th largest export market, and 31st import supplier. In 2022 alone, trade between the two nations reached $600 million, about 30 billion pesos, and it's only expected to grow. By 2025, this trade could hit $2 billion, with investments fueling sectors like agriculture, water management, and tourism. The Philippines exports a range of products to Israel, from electronics and chemicals to live fish, canned tuna, and garments. On top of all this, Filipinos make up one of the largest immigrant worker groups in Israel, about 30,000 out of 300,000 foreign workers. And over the years, Israel has supplied the Philippines with a significant amount of military equipment, further cementing their strategic alliance. This unique partnership has stood the test of time, evolving from shared values and friendships into a powerful and multifaceted relationship that continues to thrive today. Israel has been more than just an ally to the Philippines. It's also been a valuable partner in strengthening its defense. In 2020, the Philippine Navy made a groundbreaking move by purchasing Spike-ER missiles from Israel, the first ever surface-to-surface missiles installed on their ships. The Philippines also relies on a range of Israeli-made firearms, including the Galil and TR-21, which are used by the Philippine Army and Marines. This military collaboration has only deepened the bond between the two nations. On a lighter note, tourism flows between these two countries have been booming. In 2019, nearly 30,000 Filipinos visited Israel, and the Philippines has become a favored travel spot for Israelis too. Between January and August of 2023, about 15,000 Israeli tourists explored the Philippines, drawn by its beaches, culture, and welcoming spirit. But there's an even deeper reason why some Israelis are moving to the Philippines. They see it as a promised land, or even a chosen land. Is there truth to this belief? Some point to the Philippines as the woman in travail mentioned in the Book of Revelation, chapter 12. This idea is also reflected in the writings of Jose Rizal, the Philippines' national hero, who in his novel Noli Me Tangere crafted a parallel between the biblical Rachel and the character Sisa, who grieves over her two sons, Basilio and Crispin. In this narrative, Filipinos are symbolized by Sisa's sons, reminiscent of Rachel's sons, Ephraim and Benjamin, with the hope of a future return to their rightful place. Others see the hardships endured by Filipinos throughout history, like 333 years under Spanish rule, 3 years under Japanese occupation, and the Philippine-American War, as experiences that shaped the nation with humility and resilience. These struggles, they say, were part of a greater purpose, positioning the Philippines as a land of promise. So is the Philippines truly the chosen land? It's a belief that continues to capture the imagination of many, adding yet another layer to the remarkable relationship between Israel and the Philippines. Back during the Spanish rule, the Philippines faced yet another threat, this time from the Dutch, who sought to wrest control of the islands from Spain. In 1646, Dutch warships arrived in 3 squadrons, sparking the battles of La Naval de Manila, which raged from March to October of that year. This battle wasn't just a clash of empires. It was a moment that shaped the story of the Philippines. At the heart of this story is a place called Lawan in northern Samar, which was once part of an ancient kingdom known as Ophir, led by a figure named Datu Lakius. The people of this kingdom were known as the Waray, a name that, interestingly, has a bit of a Hebrew ring to it. When Spain took over, they renamed the island from Ibabao to Samar, perhaps hinting at a connection to the homeland of Datu and his people. These early Filipinos, descendants of the Rhinoceros Man, Dawn Man, and Taban Man, were a diverse civilization. Over thousands of years, they intermarried with people across the islands and spread throughout the region, even reaching far-off Austronesian lands. Some say this ancient quest led them from their homeland in Israel in search of gold for King Solomon's temple. Ophir, as described in ancient records, lay across the sea from China among many islands where traders from the Moluccas, China, and Lawan gathered to exchange goods. Japan or Taiwan didn't fit the description, but the Philippines did, perfectly. Over centuries, the writing of the people from Baybay in Lawan or Ophir and ancient Hebrew from Israel influenced one another, blending with scripts from nearby lands. As the Waray dialect evolved, it gave rise to Tagalog, which some believe retained echoes of ancient Hebrew. This link suggests that modern Filipinos might carry the legacy and even the bloodline of ancient Hebrew settlers from the kingdom of Lakius. It's a story of resilience, identity, and mystery, a tale that's woven into the fabric of Filipino heritage, and one that connects the past with the present in ways we're still uncovering. Legend has it that the Philippines is the fabled land of Ophir, the place where King Solomon sourced the gold used to build Jerusalem's temple. According to ancient lineage, Shem, one of Noah's sons, was the forefather of Eber, the ancestor of the Hebrews. From this line came Peleg, the ancestor of Israel, and Joktan, who fathered Ophir and Sheba. Many believe this connection gives Filipinos a unique link to ancient Hebrew origins. Then there's Sephir, the land where the sun rises, often associated with Japan or the Philippines. This land is said to be blessed with ancient mountains, abundant natural resources, and fertile lands. Scriptures speak of Yahweh blessing this land with crops, the finest sunlight, and the best produce each season, drawing a vivid picture of the richness of the region. Historical texts hint that the gold for Solomon's temple came from Ophir. According to a document in Spain, the journey to Ophir started from the Cape of Good Hope in Africa, passing through India, Burma, Sumatra, Borneo, Sulu, and then on to Ophir in the Pacific, likely today's Philippines, before reaching Taiwan and other islands, and eventually circling back to Israel. For many, these ancient tales connect the Philippines to an extraordinary heritage, a story of distant lands, precious resources, and ties that stretch back to the dawn of recorded history.